Hello, podcast listeners. This is Cindy Chen for your podcast of The Rest of Your Life, My Childhood Suitcase. You know, as I actually was recording the episode, I did not realize that when I stopped, that the timestamp on the track, I actually went up to 40 minutes. That is actually longer than I expected, and I feel fucking fantastic. In fact, I was reading off my previous entries on my journal app, and I went on hitting the many points on my prompt. And then, the moment I stopped recording, I was very, very surprised. I was planning on cutting myself off at 25 minutes, but I just kept rambling on. And if it feels like I'm rambling, it's because something needed to get out. Something needed to get out of my mouth. I felt really numb that moment, just really surprised. But I'm really, really happy that I created something out of nothing. And I fucking loved it. And it was as if I unleashed myself onto my MacBook, through which I was recording at the time. This is the me that I have come to know once again. And I'm definitely open to learning new things. In fact, I didn't even know anything about podcasting until I bought the mic, put it up, and just started recording. Let me just say, folks, trial and error is a way to go. And let me just say, I'm going to plan on publishing this episode unedited. I was planning on editing earlier, but I decided, what the hell? I'm going to release the part of myself that was unleashed, and probably the best version. Actually, not probably. I'm feeling that you are going to love it. The raw, real, and radical version of me. Oh, by the way, the woman whom I mentioned in the episode, who had those wise words to me when I was in The Odd Couple, her name is Artie. It's Aarti, and I want to give out a shout out to her for those beautifully wise words that inspired me to record this episode. So, I hope you enjoy, and much love to you folks. Mwah. Turn and face the strange changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strange changes. Just gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Hello, listeners. This is Cindy Chen. I am your host for the podcast of The Rest of Your Life, My Childhood Suitcase. What you just heard is me not singing a bit of karaoke, but it is actually a nice little segue into what I'm about to tell you today. And I'm going to read from you from my diary app. It's about can you believe it is already October? And I'm reading this off the diary app. Not only is it Halloween, but it's also a month of changes. Big, huge changes. And changes including one of living accommodations. Yep, that's right. I had just moved into my new digs back in Seattle. It was I would say it was the end of September, I should say. I just moved back to Seattle this weekend after 5 years of living on the east side, specifically Bothell. Actually, it's more like new digs in the old neighborhood where I once lived. Back to the townhouse in the new neighborhood where I once lived, and I'm fucking overwhelmed with so many changes. And mind you, this was written from October 1st, so please bear with me. And I'm just reading it out loud here. For one, it used to be a bunch of single family homes with a town home full of units every few blocks or so. Now it's a cluster of townhomes that just don't seem to fit in our town of Seattle. Maybe it's because I'm so used to having a lot of space that I feel a bit claustrophobic, a bit trapped in between too many people and too much noise. And well, you can tell from the noise up above that it's airplane noise. So that's how I know I'm back in Seattle. I like that I now have so much space in the C unit that my parents still own, for which I pay less rent, but there's just not as much backyards as there used to be. So I looked up why the hell I'm feeling this way, and this one article named it quite perfectly: reverse culture shock. Yep, that's what I'm experiencing right now, and probably why I teared up a bit. Yeah, I did. I cried a little bit, and I did indeed tear up because I feel like I don't belong in Beacon Hill anymore. Like I'm a bit out of place. I have grown a lot in the 5 years since I moved out of Seattle, and I feel as if it's no longer my home. I came back from my walk and I got a little down and sad. Yeah, it was it's definitely a lot of changes, see. And as I said, it was a this is definitely a change in seasons, and that what fall really means. I guess this is definitely the reason why it's called the autumnal equinox, because this definitely means a season of changes, and that the leaves start to fall. That's actually what I like, and that it's also the change in weather and the change in the harvest moon, I think. Anyway, I don't I don't know exactly. Let me pause this for a sec. Since early this year, since I started this podcast, and I gotta say, looking back at it 10 months ago compared to this month, I can't believe how far I've gone, and I am so fucking proud of myself. And that, yeah, it's it's just been really great. I early this month I looked up a meditation to practice as a challenge for myself for a month. I've actually been doing that recently, to look up my own meditation videos to practice for a whole month so that I can keep showing up for myself and to continue to live in alignment. Let me tell you what that means. To live in alignment is to live according to your goals and your dreams, and what what you are. Let me put it this way. If say that you're a kid and you always dream of being a veterinarian one day, then 30 years later you become a real estate agent, very high powered, very well paid, but you feel that your life is empty somehow because you have lost your way. You have definitely lost who you were as a child, always with imagination, limitless aspirations and dreams. And yet here you are as an adult, having really lost the spark. Yeah. I think that's what it means to live in alignment. To live in alignment is to live authentically with your inner self, and that's definitely how I have come to really know myself again, knowing who I was, reprogram everything I had learned, and so that I can learn new things, like learning new skills, so to speak. See, I I grew up with limiting subconscious beliefs, which I may have explained in some previous episodes. Something about, yeah. I think I mentioned all of those in the episode about perfectionism, and another episode about grandmas and such. Anyway, long story long story short, too late. I guess you might say I guess you might say I grew up. I lived the last 30 years of my 30 years a little over 30 years of my life with those old, antiquated, limiting beliefs of never feeling good enough, never feeling worthy. I'd have to earn my worth through good grades and such, or having a high paid job. No, 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 no. To me, I've learned recently over the last several months, that is not how this works. I don't have to. I don't have to work harder. I don't have to basically kill myself in order to get where I am, because I am. I am where I am. I am who I am because I had to feel safe. I had to really learn how to feel safe within myself again so that I can start receiving quite effortlessly. My God, all of these things I had been receiving over the last few months, especially in the spring and summer, has been quite a change because I learned to surrender. I learned to surrender and to trust myself again to be safe. And just like that, I got acting offers popping up left and right. I've been making a lot of great, better friends, new, better friends. In fact, actually, speaking of new, better friends, now that we are segueing into it, thankfully, let's see. I think it's what I think a friend of mine whom I met on Instagram, Erica. She said some really wise words to me that day when I was from October 1st. It's allow yourself to feel the full range of your emotions. With change comes grief. Give yourself permission to feel it all. And yeah, I'm just I'm really thankful that I have much, much better friends who push me to the top, and that and they tell me to keep going, even though at times I feel like I'm about to give up. No, 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 no. Those are the kinds of friends who, despite even though you really give up, they're the ones that raise you up above so you can get to where you are. Those are the kind, and not beat you down. Those are the kinds of friends to depend on. In fact, actually, the people who do beat me down, they're not meant for me. They fall away, which is actually the theme of fall. That people who aren't meant for you, they fall away where your highest good is concerned. In fact, actually, I was listening to Gabrielle's podcast on Patreon. Um, there's one episode that I'm not gonna tell you too much here, but she definitely gave me such great insight about my former friendship with I'm still gonna call her Christine for protection. That I that definitely it's definitely made me realize that she wasn't really the friend that I wanted. She wasn't the kind of friend who would support me. I mean, she did show up for me, but when I tried to show up for her, she did not reciprocate. I mean, I like I mean, I liked her. I liked her and all, but she just did not did not seem to like me. And I don't think she really liked me for who I was. But I think I mentioned to that to you in a couple of episodes back. But I'll let you search for that. But yeah, it's definitely the clarity, definitely the clarity I needed to sort out why the hell I allowed Christine to treat me shamefully, and that I've definitely finally come at peace with that. And another another friendship who never reciprocated was a guy named, I can't remember at the top of my head what I'm going to name him. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to call him I'm gonna have to call him Chad. Yes. No, not Chad. Uh, Carl. I'm gonna call him Carl. See, he. I don't like how. I do not like how that. It's another friend I knew from high school whom I named Carl. I name him Carl because I do keep him anonymous. Anyway, I just don't like. I never liked how the guy completely wasted his time with his, woe is me, my girlfriend cheated on me, my car broke down, my blood pressure went down, and I don't have my medicine, etc., etc. Boring. How boring, fucking boring is that to have to hear someone saying, still being cheated on, still being unhealthy, still not taking medicine for my heart, still having problems with my car, still. I don't like. No offense to people, but don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I I'm a very I'm a overall kind person with a kind heart, but sometimes for certain people, my patience runs real thin. My patience actually wears thin. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes there has to be a limit to my patience, and especially if it's a one time thing where a person comes to you with a problem, and you help the person. Okay, that's fine, and as long as the person feels better and I feel better and that I helped and so on. But if it becomes a pattern that the person comes to you every single fucking time, but then you start to feel shitty afterwards, but the person feels better, then it's not a good thing. And I would feel that I would need to set a boundary and say, hey, I'm not available to you all the time. Please seek help. But anyway, I I finally cut him off. I finally cut Carl off in 2022 because he said something completely inappropriate to me in front of my boyfriend, Mr. E. And this was this is when we, after the three of us had dinner at a fish and chip shop, and we went to this park nearby, and we were just kind of full. We were just kind of getting more drunk in the park. Even though you're not supposed to. But Carl said something really appropriate. I'm not going to reiterate what he said, but it just made me feel really disgusted by the end of the night, especially by the time that Mr. E and I got back to the car. And it was at that moment that I decided I needed to cut Carl off. I needed to end the friendship. And I spent maybe 2 years as to figure out why he's like this and that. turns out that it was actually me that had a lot of horse that needs to check my shoes because my shoes were smelling like horse shit. It was attracting flies, so I decided to clean up my shoes, figuratively, not literally, if that's what you're thinking. anyway, anyway, I decided to no longer I no longer decided to waste time with this person. And another, and these two people, they are part of my past from 20 years ago in high school. That was from my old version of me that was created from survival and struggle. But when it comes to certain people who whom I thought have become good friends after healing myself. It's when I think it's when you start to question things. Now and that person comes to mind. Jamie. She was a neighbor of mine who used to live about two doors next to me when I lived in Bothell before she moved out to Hoodsport, which is about less than an hour outside Olympia. Really, really nice area, by the way. Anyway, she and I I mean, yeah, we kind of said, "Oh, hello, and thank you." And I think the extent of it is that, "Oh, those are cute dog. Those are some of the cutest dogs that you have." He said, thank you." And I even showed up to her when she had a medical emergency, and I had to help out. I had to help out, drive her mom to Walgreens or something. Anyway, but and she and I guess maybe I think it's because I think maybe we were actually mutual friends with my other neighbor Lisa. I mean, the three of us would hang out together a few times, and when Lisa and I drove out to Hoodsport to visit her, it was fun. It was fine. It was a great way for the three of us girls to get together, and it was actually really nice. Just forming friendships with other women when I had no healthy relationships with girls growing up. It was actually quite nice, and I was really looking forward to seeing Jamie again, and I extended my invitation. This early this summer. I extended an invitation to Jamie to the Festival of Shorts in Edmonds. I even went out of the way to even pay her ticket so she could come see me. And when she accepted my invitation, I went ahead and bought her a ticket, but she never showed up. I mean, it only lasted. The Festival of Shorts was only one weekend, and when I was there, I didn't get a text from her. I tried to look for her in the audience, but it didn't. I even texted her and saying, "Hey, are you in the audience? I don't see you." And it turns out she never showed up. No call, no text. So for the next month or so, I tried getting a hold of her, even sending her the text the next day saying, "Missed you last night, Jamie." Then next day I sent her a link to the article where my picture is actually being seen on the newsletter. See, it's kind of nice being seen in the local newsletter. Anyway, then there was nothing. 2 weeks later, July 15th, I tried getting a hold of her again, saying, "Hey, I haven't heard from you." And then Then a month later, this is around August, so it's about 2 months later, I said, "Hello, Jamie. I don't know what's going on with this radio silence, but I'm feeling ignored, not to mention unseen, and wondering if you're okay." Then nearly 12 hours later, I finally get a text from Jamie saying, "I will reach out to you tomorrow." That, God, I mean, good God. I mean, the way that she responded to my text, it sounded a bit more businesslike, kind of cold, stone cold. I mean, that's the kind of reply that you would get, say, if you were to send an email. I mean, what the fuck, Jamie? I mean, I paid your fucking ticket, and you never showed up, but you never even bothered. You never even bothered to text me and say, "Hey, I can't make it." I mean, that's rude. Not to mention unconscionable. Well, I'm still a little. I was a little hurt, actually. Very, very hurt. I was a little hurt when she didn't show up, and that, yeah, I guess maybe I'm just looking up. I'm just looking up something here. Well, it doesn't matter. I guess you might say that not only was I hurt by Jamie never showing up, no call, no text, but I was also a bit hurt that I wasted $20. I wasted $20, and when I should have left it up to her to just buy my ticket. I guess it goes to show you that there is people do have priorities, and yeah, it's it took me 2 months. Actually, it took me about 3 months to finally process, to move through it. I even asked Lisa for insight, and actually, and that was actually the moment that it was actually the moment that I saw Lisa the other night when we went out to happy hour, and it was actually when I was telling her about how I reached out to Jamie, and then Lisa told me something very interesting that finally got me out of that cycle. That Jamie was obviously not the person whom I thought she was. I thought that Jamie was nice, but apparently Jamie was just not the person that I wanted, and I came to the conclusion that night that Jamie just doesn't like me. She just wow, Jamie, you probably just don't like me, do you? I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, sometimes I rub some people the wrong way, and yeah, I cannot help who the hell I am, because that is me. That is I fucking love being who I am, and nobody's gonna ask me to shrink. I'm not gonna shrink who the hell I am. I'm not going to stop being who I am just to make someone else feel comfortable. No, 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 no. I finally I finally got over it. I finally moved forward, and that was definitely that was definitely some of the closure I needed. Yes, yes, yes. I needed closure. I think I just was expecting Jamie to apologize, or to just at least refund me the $20, but I think I've come to accept that I'm never gonna get that $20 back, but to think of it as a donation to the theater, which I'm okay with, because I love the theater I work with. But I digress. And I'm never gonna get an apology. I'm never gonna I'm never gonna make everyone happy, and I understand it. And I am and I accept it. I accept it, no further doubt. And that's definitely I mean Lisa's definitely one of the most dearest friends I have ever had. I have ever have. And I'm really lucky to have met Lisa, to even have her as my neighbor. In fact, I'm still in touch with her, so shout out to you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Don't be a stranger now, Lisa. Another one of my dearest friends is Sarah. I mean, I gotta say, she is actually, thank God for Sarah, because you know how in Grey's Anatomy, I don't really, not really a big fan of the show, but I think Sarah is definitely my person. What I mean by person, apparently this was from Grey's Anatomy, is that person to be notified, emergency contact. But in that sense, Sarah's definitely the kind of I've definitely just never expected someone like Sarah to be my person. See, someone I can call, doesn't matter what time of the day, even though she's about 3 hours ahead of me, she is definitely the one. She's definitely the one to call, but not without texting her saying, "Hey, are you busy right now?" Yeah, and I think she's definitely the kind of person who would be there to provide a listening ear, and to just provide some nuggets of insight if need be, and to distract me with her two kitties. By the way, her cats are some of the cutest in the world. And sometimes when I do get a bit charged while recounting, she would direct her phone to me to see one of the kitties during one of the video calls. It's kind of nice. It's just really nice. And I have actually wrote out another entry saying, "Dear Diary, thank God once again for Sarah to bring me out of the funk last night. She is definitely the kind of spirit kitty who helps ground me and remind me who the fuck I am. In fact, she's a real badass woman whom Gabrielle had just made a podcast episode about. Good grief, I was spiraling about where I live and the current state of the housing market, and she's the kind of person who brings me back to my own badass self. I am super duper fucking back to my authentic badass self, and it's definitely great to be back." Yeah. And it's definitely I've definitely come to realize that I'm not gonna make everybody happy, but Sarah would be the kind of person who would show up for me no matter what, and would be the kind of person who would show up for me even though some of the shows I would invite. I mean, oh boy, that now we've gotten to the, oh wow, reached 31 minutes. All right, I'm gonna cut right to the point. In fact, I'm going to segue to the part where I did I would do the invite everybody en masse to see me in the show, The Odd Couple female version. I did it. I put up a thought onion. I was actually this was 2 weeks ago, and it was closing night, and I would be reminding a whole bunch of people who had not seen me in that show yet. I would get but then I would get a lot of people telling me left and right, "Oh, I'm sorry, couldn't make it," or I can't make it this weekend. I have to go another thing, or I'm just too busy. That and This actually happened on a Thursday. See, and I was in an office, and just having a lot of people declining the invitations left and right, it didn't really make me feel good. And I actually went on a lunch break, and I went outside because I never really cried in the office, but I felt like I needed to get away from everybody so I could be on my own and to cry my eyes out. So I found a nice quiet place by the creek so I could sit down. And regroup. I was definitely not feeling very good. Not feeling very good. Really, actually, this is a really first time since I've become a highly sensitive. I've become much more sensitive, even to the point of being aware of my feelings as they come up. And I was feeling them at the moment, the feelings of sadness. So I peeled a thought onion. Thank you, Gabrielle. A superficial thought. Why am I getting so upset over the people declining my invitation to come see me in the female odd couple? Why am I taking this more personally than before? Authentic thought. The fact that some of the people who say they are too busy or out of town, etc., hits me more than I expected. It didn't used to hurt me, but now that I'm more aware of my feelings, I feel that they don't seem to care about me. And my other castmates have their own support system of people coming to see them, which makes me a bit jealous. Subconscious thought. I'm feeling a bit rejected, dejected, and abandoned. Am I not as worthy of my friends' attention and support enough to come see me? Do I not matter to them? I mean, what the fuck? That was what I was feeling that day. And and I had to tap into it. I had to tap through these feelings of sadness, of anger. No, actually, I was also feeling angry because I was sad and hurt. Not to mention embarrassed because I wanted people I wanted people to come see me as the new version of myself who is from creation, as a result of creation. And but some people just don't have really high of a priority to come see me until and I and yeah, tapping through the sadness made me feel a little better, but still a little sad. Until the next night when it was closing weekend. I think it was just before or maybe during the show. My co-star who played Sylvie in the female odd couple. Um, Anyway, she did. I mean, thank heavens for her wise counsel that night. In fact, she actually mentioned something about inviting all of her family friends en masse to her previous show at this was her from her previous show from a while back. And that actually, I think it was the universe teaching me something, that what this person what she experienced was exactly the same issue I had been having with our show, The Odd Couple. I would aggressively promote via social media and invite all the people I know to come see our show, and only up to 5% attended, including my mom. Thank you, mom, and my cousin Maylee and her husband Alex. Thank you so much. Of course, Mr. E showed up to both opening and closing shows. But the way I reacted when the majority of my loved ones said they were too busy touched that old wound of not being worthy for attention. What was the lesson here from the universe? Do not take these rejections and declinations too personally, for this isn't about you, but rather understand where their priorities lie. And the 10% of people that you invite, they will show up. They will always show up no matter what. Even my neighbor Lisa, who actually came to see my show, so thank you so much. Yeah, what a wise woman that actress, my co-star, really is. I'm really happy I met her, and also to blast my next show on social media and only personally invite that 10% whom you know will show up. So, as we are coming up to, wow, to a little over half an hour, I'm going to leave you with some words of advice. If you feel really overwhelmed and overcome by huge changes in your life, whether it be change in season, change in surroundings, just take a few moments, go somewhere quiet, and take a few deep breaths, and if need be, find yourself a video on YouTube and to tap through it. This is why they call it EFT tapping. EFT is actually short for emotional freedom tapping. That has actually worked wonders on me. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to if you have a good friend whom you will call, whom you know will show up for you, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just send a short text saying, "Hey, you free?" Because those people will show up. And friendships do change. You just have to let it be, let it go, and just know that the universe always has you back. And remember now, I hear you and I see you. Love you guys. Mwah.